This lesson is focused on air masses. On this slide, you'll notice at the top, I've added a little hint that I'd like you to just listen only. If you see listen only, make sure you're paying attention, but there's nothing to record on your notes. The objectives for this lesson are to be able to identify and describe the different types of air masses based on the temperature and humidity. So there's two different ways to classify them. And then differentiate between the four different types of air masses based on where they are formed. As you can see in this picture, there are several different combinations of air masses. So we'll talk about how we decide which one is which. And we'll do a little bit of talking about fronts. Here's where you need to start taking notes on your notes. As you can see, over the United States, there are several different air masses. An air mass is a large body of air that has the same temperature, pressure, and humidity. Humidity refers to how much moisture or water is in the air. The red ones here are warmer. As you can see, they have the word tropical on them. Tropical generally means the temperature is warmer. You can see these blue ones represent colder air. We call those polar air masses. A front, so if you have two air masses that meet each other, we call that a front. In the image here, we have a cold air mass meeting a warm air mass, and that can produce different types of weather and temperatures that we will learn about later on. When we are classifying air masses, first we can classify them based on their humidity. We have continental air masses that form over land. Because it's over land, it is dry. Please make sure you take the notes and draw maybe an image of a continent on your notes. If it's not formed over land, we call it a maritime air mass. This is an air mass that forms over water and or ocean, and because of the water, it is humid or moist. Please draw a picture of water to represent this. On my notes, I just did some squiggly lines to represent water. Before I get into how we classify air masses based on temperature, I just want to point out what latitudes are. So on Earth, we have the equator, which is right through the center of the Earth or around the center of the Earth. Those temperatures are much warmer. We call those areas the tropics. The latitude refers to how far away from the equator you are, and the latitudes are closer to zero. Okay, 0 degrees latitude refers to the line of the equator. It's much warmer there. If you go farther up, closer to the poles, the North Pole or the South Pole, the latitudes are much higher, closer to 90 degrees. These are colder areas. So, as you can imagine, depending on the latitude of the air mass, the temperature will be based on that. Please take notes on polar and tropical air masses. So this will tell us the temperature. Polar air masses form at high latitudes over the polar regions, so the temperature is cold. Please draw an image showing or representing something cold. I also recommend that you use blue in these drawings. For tropical air masses, These ones form at low latitudes, which is close to zero, over the tropics, so the temperature is warm. On your notes, please fill in the words and the drawing. You can draw the sunshine, you can draw anything in red to represent that it is warm. So now we're going to summarize what we've just learned, and also point out that because we have to classify an air mass based on its temperature and moisture, it's going to have two letters. Maritime tropical, we would represent as MT, a lowercase m and a uppercase T. Maritime tropical, if you look down here, it's a little cut off, but you can see it. It forms over the ocean, and it is a low latitude, so it's warm. And the arrows that you see here show the direction that that air mass tends to move. Maritime polar, we have one up here on the left. It's over the ocean still, but it's a much higher latitude, so it's a cold one. Continental tropical, we have a low latitude, but it's over land. So this one, as it moves up, it brings dry, warm air. Continental polar here, if you recognize this, it's over Canada, and it tends to move down. So that's represented by CP. And then there's also another one that you cannot see in this image, but if we have an air mass that's formed directly over the equator, it gets a special designation as E. So we can call it ME. Before we end the video, I just want you to pause here and take a look at this map and see how many different air masses can you see in this picture, and how many different types of air masses do you see in this picture. Good luck.